Senior Talk. It is brought to you by the Solon American Legion and Senior Benefits. How are you doing today, Rex?
Well, Molly, it's just another great day in Iowa, right here in Iowa City. What a beautiful day it is out there. We're going to take it for sure, don't you think? Yeah, you betcha. That's what I say too. We're going to roll with it. Great weather for farmers because I'll tell you they're ready to harvest. They are out harvesting corn and beans as we speak. You can sure notice it if you drive around the countryside. So this extended warm period is, it's different than normal because normally we put on a jacket this time of year and kind of get acclimated to it. But so far, so good. Well, listen, folks, welcome to Senior Talk, a weekly radio program that comes into your home, hopefully, wherever your home, your office, and on a weekly basis or whenever you have an opportunity to listen. And the goal for Senior Talk is to bring up some ideas, some thoughts, stir up the pot, so to speak, on the senior level. Maybe if you hear some things and you're not a senior, maybe they could apply to you. All kinds of ideas we'll bring forth. And in the meantime, we'll even bring to you some history type things. Well, hello and thank to each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy day to sit here as a senior and listen to seniors or senior, maybe gonna-bees, we call you. We'll do my best to see if we can't cook something up for you. I guarantee you that if you pull up a chair and grab a sandwich and a nice cold root beer and spend a few minutes with me, maybe we can figure something out for you. My name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm a 76-year-old real estate broker, and I like to meet, work with, and talk with seniors. And I would say in '07 or '08, I decided that I would like to take my real estate career to a different, to a niche, to a curve in the road here, and deal with, learn about more things seniors as I age myself. As I said, I'm 76, so we'll say 65 is sort of known as a retirement age. So for the last 10, 11 years, I've been an official senior in my mind. I think you're a senior when you're 60. Let's see, who thinks you're a senior when you're 50? Oh, that's right. AARP, because they start sending you magazine and everything else. But I don't think you're a senior at 50. I think you need a little more age and experience, so that's what we do with it. Well, my job is to, with seniors, is I talk to, deal with, provide advice, professional advice and opinions only on real estate. Will I put anything in writing? Because I'm not authorized or licensed to dispense any kind of professional attorney. I'm not an attorney for sure. But on insurance, we may talk about insurance, we may talk about investments, but only in real estate can my advice be reduced to writing. So I hope lots of seniors call me and say, we're thinking about downsizing, or right-sizing, I call it, get the right size house. Anyhow, downsizing, and we're going to get rid of some things, so please do. And what do we do? Well, what are the steps to do? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing to do is, number one, is recognize that you may need a change in your living accommodation. And that can be caused by a lot of different things because you want to make a change, and we can in this country, we can. And B, it's a health-induced type of thing. Why the washer dryer is in the basement, and your master bedroom is on the second floor, and so it's a 3-day trip, a 3-story trip at least, to take the laundry down and bring the laundry up. That is a top deal on why people make a change as you get older. The steps, any kind of stairways are not good. Uneven floors are not good as you get older. So that's step number 2. When you realize that it may be time to do that, and when you realize that, that's when we sit down and you say, "Here's what we're thinking. We've got the washer dryer in the basement, and we don't want to go down there anymore." It's not handy for us. Or you say, we're the last ones on this block. We're the only ones we know on the block. Everybody else moved, type of thing. It just comes to realization that something might need to happen, but most usually there's never any immediacy, any emergency. But what a value it is to yourself. Heck with anybody else. What a value it is to yourself to sit down with you and your family, or your partner, your wife, your husband, or your little group maybe, and discuss these things, rather than having to fall down the steps to the basement and the doctor tells you you're not going home until and this is what they say, until you have a ramp built, till you can get into the house, until you can make accommodations with your broken leg and things like that. I've been through this. Many of you have. So it's not easy. But if you realize this now, before it's 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, and you realize these things now. What a lot more convenient, what a lot more relaxed atmosphere you put yourself in. I'll talk to you under any duress you may have, but it's much more of a better feeling and a better outcome if you take this upon yourself. And so if you've kind of come to that realization that you'd like to talk, well, just give me a call. I have a senior line, which is 319, of course, 330-5534. 330-5534, and we'll just see what we can do. Come up with some ideas, some thoughts, and I'm all ears when I do that. You tell me your situation. And the more I can learn, then the more I can maybe come up with some thoughts and some ideas, and we can meet at your home or in my office or at a coffee shop, wherever it may be, your son's house, your daughter's house, whatever, it makes no difference. It's just me listening to you about your plans. House is too big. We can't deal with the yard anymore. Winter's coming. What are we going to do with the snow? I don't want, if you will, my husband out there. He insists on doing it his way, which is what we men do. Nobody can mow the grass like we can. Nobody can shovel snow and do it right like we can. Get over it, Get over. Let some things go, for God's sake. I know you're looking at each other like, see, Wilbur, I told you. Well, that's what has to happen. Absolutely has to happen. So. Well, seniors lady said to me, she says, apparently Walmart thinks I need to go home and put up my Christmas tree, eat turkey, and then while wearing my Halloween costume. Because they have all those things out right now at Walmart and probably Hobby Lobby and all those places. They have Christmas stuff out, Thanksgiving things out, and Halloween stuff out all at the same time. So she's going to put up her tree, have some turkey, and do that with a costume on again. Well, fall is here on the calendar. And I haven't heard many people complain about this weather. The only complaints, and I wouldn't call them complaints, is the fact that, like we mentioned before, sometimes we know it's supposed to be cooler. We know we could put a sweatshirt on or a jacket on and feel just as comfortable. But that's not what the good Lord's doing. We're sending some pretty darn nice weather here. And so be it. We'll take it as long as we can. Trust us, because we know what can happen this winter, and so we'll take all this warm weather we can get. It would be kind of nice to have a jacket on. If you want to do that, to get up early in the morning, go out at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was out at 6 o'clock this morning, and I would have needed a jacket, that's for sure, if I was going to stay out there. So go with it. Go with the weather, what we have, and use it to your best advantage. It might maybe induce you into some outdoor activities. And the best outdoor activity of all, hopefully, for you is a low-impact walk. And that stirs up a lot of things. Just walking stirs up a lot of things good for you. Blood circulation, blood pressure, just the thought that you're out walking on your own. It's your own ability. You don't have to run. You don't have to jog. If you want to go up a hill, fine. If you want to walk on a flat, fine. That's what nice weather does for you. Otherwise, when it gets cold, you have to go to the mall, things like that. Not your choice. It's the only thing to do. But today, on a nice weather, you can go have at it. And don't let the weather fool you into not doing some winter things. You know what, Rex? Don't let the weather fool you into not doing some winter things. This is a great time I think, it's a great time to drive past and personally inspect any and all properties you may own. Even if you have a professional manager, I suggest it's your property and you need to make sure they are in good condition. Well, we've got a duplex over on the east side of town, or we've got a duplex in North Liberty, or that. Well, when's the last time you drove by? Well, we've got a property manager. Well, do you think the property manager, and I can't answer that, but all in all, I really can. Do you think the property management takes as good care of it as you would? Put yourself in their position. They're going to manage 62 of them. Do you really think, other than unless they see a broken window, or they see a car parking in the front yard, or they see that, they may not report things to you. And pretty soon, your friendly, fun little duplex that maybe you started out with might be the dumpiest looking place on the block. Don't let that happen. You see, your 12-plex, your duplex, your triplex, whatever it may be, your little office building, those are separate little income property. That's a separate little business. And that little duplex, as innocent as it may sound, that is a separate little generator. It's providing shelter, yes, for the people there. It's providing you with an income, a write-off, a deduction, all kinds of neat things. But you have to take care of it. So that's what, and I see so many, you drive by so many, and you got, who owns that place? And you find out it's a person who owns 23 of them here in town or whatever it might be, and they just, all they do is collect the rent. That's nasty. I don't like that. So if you own some property, go take a run past them. And when is the last time you actually met with the on-site manager out there, the property manager at the property, and have them walk around with you? That's part of their service. Nobody ever calls them. The only thing they ever get from the property management company is the bill for this month, where we replaced the water softener, salt, the stairway handle was broken, there was a broken window, the mailbox fell down, all kinds of things. That's all you ever get. And all you ever do is, oh, God, I got to do this. Why is that? I wonder how come it was $147.18. Folks, take these things into your own hands. I'm not saying manage it yourself. I'm not saying go mow the grass yourself or go shovel snow yourself. But keep an eye on it. If you have a professional property manager, and I know some good ones and know some ones that aren't so hot, keep an eye on your own things, because these are little businesses for you. Absolutely. Help that little business work harder, work smarter, and give you more money. That is the goal, as a matter of fact. Well, in the past 90 days, and as recent as this week, I've lost 2 high school classmates. Both of being longtime friends from way back in the 60s, one in the grade school days. And both guys both died of cancer issues. I know they're working on cancer cures all the time, and I know they've made some huge steps in helping people get better and fight and win over certain types of cancers. But don't we all just wish it'd go away? Because it certainly has taken a lot of our family members, a lot of our friends, and it's a tough row. It's a tough go. For the most part, it's a long duke out slugfest between you and cancer. For the most part, cancer wins. Not always, but for the most part. So, kind of remorseful here today. Both these guys are just great friends of mine, and now they're gone. Now they've been called home by the good Lord, and there's nothing more we can do for them. They did their best. They both sought out doctors. They both sought out health care. They did the best they could to take on the big cancer, but they didn't win. So my condolences, as I've already expressed to the families, go to each one of them. So, well, I got a nice call from a senior man. Here's what he said. He said, we're meeting with our 2 sons and 1 daughter at our house next month. He says they're all adults. They all have kids. He said between them they have 10 grandkids, and he said all the grandkids. We're having kind of a big blowout here at the house, and all the grandkids and the moms and dads will be here too. So good times for sure. He said. I said, you bet. He said, I told them. In other words, the sons and daughters and their spouses, we're going to sit down and go over our will, in other words, Grandma and Grandpa's will, and our finances with them. We want them to know what is what, who is who gets what in our idea, and that way there are no surprises at the end, like my brother and sister and I had to deal with when our parents passed away. Wow. So these man and his wife, Grandma and Grandpa, we're going to call them for this story, which is what they are. They've invited their 2 adult sons, 1 adult daughter, and they all between them have 10 kids. And they're going to meet, and while the kids are roughing up out in the yard, probably down in the basement, Grandma and Grandpa are going to do things. Now, Grandma and Grandpa are going to go over things with them and lay it out. And the kids might think Grandma and Grandpa have $12 million when they only have $852,000 or $152,000. Make any difference. And Grandma and Grandpa are going to say, this China set's going to go to our daughter, or our car's going to go to this boy, or the lighting lawn tractor. Now, what they do when they're gone, Grandma and Grandpa are gone, and the kids decide to make a change, that's up to them. I don't want that stupid dish set, but I would like to have the riding lawnmower or the freezer in the basement. Between them, they can iron that out. This is a guideline at Grandma and Grandpa. Have you ever considered anything like this? Are you hiding behind the fact that, this will cause World War III at our house when I tell Johnny he's going to get my gun collection and I tell Joey he's going to get my fishing stuff? Well, that's your plan. You can lay it out. It's your stuff. Feel free to lay it out. If they have a problem, that is their problem. When you are gone, they can make a change and split the fishing stuff and split the gun stuff. They may come back to you and say, why don't you give him those 3 guns and I'll take those 3 guns and he gets the fishing stuff and I get part of that fishing stuff. This isn't negotiation time, ladies and gentlemen. This is Grandma and Grandpa laying it out. and negotiating can come between the kids. And if the kids get in a brawl, so to speak, get in a rhubarb with the deal, that's their problem, because they're not adult enough to handle this. That's the problem. They're not adult to handle this if all they see about you guys is the fact that you left the guns to this person and you left the rowboat to that person, or whatever it might be. That is their problem, not you. So go ahead with your plans. Go ahead with your ideas. So I told him, good idea. And then he said to me, do you have any guidelines that I could hand them? And I do. I have a little publication I put together called The File. And so I sent him a copy. I sent him 4 copies of the file, one for each of his kids, and one for he and his mom, he and his wife too. So away they go. And the file is a 4-page, front and back manila envelope folder with all kinds of ideas and who you should call, what you should write down, things like that. So that's the scoop. I do have some of those if you ever need one. I told him, I said, yeah, when they asked me if I had any guidance, I said, yes, I do. So I said, just off the top of my head, let me ask you a quick question. So I'm asking each one of you listening today. I said, do you have a will? And they said, yes. We're acting like, yes, we do. I said, do the kids have a will? Well, we don't know. I said, well, if they've got a property and they have grandkids, don't you think that they should have a will? Because if mom and dad get run over and the grandkids are left to the court, how do you know that you're going to end up with the grandkids? How do you know their brothers and sisters will end up taking care of their kids if they're gone? You don't know that. Oh, my God, I didn't think about that. Well, that's what you spell out in a will. You spell out who the kids could go to. It helps the courts out. The courts don't want to take the kids and send them off to Big Flats, Iowa to live with somebody they don't know. They don't want that. Help them out. Do they have mortgages? Yes, they do. All 3 of them have a real nice house. They have mortgage. Do they own the house? Yeah, they do. Do they own other real estate and or a business? Well, yes, one of them has a very successful business in the Des Moines area. Have they ever been to a financial planner? She said, he said, no, we asked them that several times. Do you ever put together a plan for yourself and your incomes and stuff like that? And the answer is always no, but we're working on it. So the answer basically is no. These kids are in their 30s. They have kids from 2 kids in all these grandkids, 2 college age down to 2 years old. So they've got to help the whole gamut here, and Grandma and Grandpa are going to try to address. Then Grandma and Grandpa are going to do this. They're going to address and say, here's what the kids get, and pay some homage with some things to the grandkids, but that's up to them. And we'll just see where the chips go. So my hat is off to this gentleman for calling. He's making an attempt. How about you? Have you made an attempt? They know what they're going to get. I've told them many times, blah, 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 this or that. Well, when the chips are down, when somebody's gone, or when you're both gone, are they going to remember it the way you told them? Well, they will if it's in writing in a will. I'm going to give you what I think is a helpful idea, because I've heard a lot of people talking about this, been around, and so we took action ourselves. Have you ever had your dryer vent cleaned out? This is a mundane type thing. Well, let me tell you, I spent many years on the Corville Fire Department, and I've been to lots and lots of dryer vent fires. So you do your laundry in your washer and then your dryer, and the lint that comes out of there goes in the trap. Now they have traps in the dryer. Go clean out that trap this afternoon. Pull that screen-looking thing up and clean that out. And then you probably really, really need, if you've never done it, you need to call. You can call any HVAC guy here in town, a heating guy, air conditioning company, and ask them if they clean out, if you do a business with them, ask them if they clean out dryer vents. No, no, we don't. Well, if they don't give you a helpful hint, then they're not helping you. Then you look up something, give me a call, 330-5534. I'll give you a couple names to do that. Actually, if you Google that, there's a guy here in town, that's all they do. In fact, I think it was a lady. That's all they do is clean out dryer vents and clean up air conditioning. All right, do that. What a crappy way to have a house fire because you forget to clean out the dryer vent. Many of you don't even know that it needs to be cleaned out. Well, that stuff doesn't. The farther it gets from the dryer, the harder the dryer has to push that stuff. Then pretty soon it can't, and pretty soon it gets hot up in there, and you get a spark somehow, and kaboom, you got a house fire. You don't want to do that. Get doing that. And while you're thinking of things like that, get that furnace filter installed. And number 2, with this weather. Number 3, with this weather, I just asked you to drive around a duplex you might own or a 12-plex. Walk around your own house. Yeah, walk around your own house looking for gutters and paint, window chips, something that just doesn't look right. Maybe the sidewalk's sinking out front. Maybe the garage door is not fitting tight. Maybe there's the big rubber gasket that runs the width of the garage is not tight. You can kind of see in or see out. Well, snow can see in or see out. Wind, So, you have to take care of these things, folks. This is not profound. These are all things that you should do. You should do the same thing with your car. Treat all these things right because we need them. Otherwise, they cost you more money to keep them up if you don't do it right. I also do this. It will be dark for many hours a day pretty soon. Right now, it's about 50-50, as a matter of fact. It's about half daylight and half sun gone. So I keep flashlights with active batteries in each car. And I also have some of the little ones that are about 2-3 inches long. You put them in your coat pocket. I also have those because if it's dark half the year, and we're seniors, a lot of times we don't have the depth perception. And we seniors live halfway in fear of tripping and falling and not knowing where we're going, not going where there's a curb there, things like that. It behooves you to take care of yourself once again and get yourself some flashlights. Put one, you know what to do. I'm not telling you don't know. But I am telling you you're probably not going to do it if you don't think about it. Okay, as a realtor, we always have to go to the front door and get a key out of the box. We always have to have one. I can't tell how many times I put a big flashlight under my left armpit, try to work that. I have one that goes a headband with a flashlight on it. Do these things. Well, just trying to give you a couple things. So, last week, matter of fact, just a couple days ago, at our house, we received our annual edition of Medicare and You. Now, doesn't that sound like the most boring thing you've ever thought about reading in life? It's about, a half-inch thick, and it kind of looks like the Iowa City phone book in the 1950s, about that thick. It's a nice publication, and I want you to do this. I want you to take some time and read it and keep it. Now, so many of your questions that can be answered in that little booklet. Really, really, it has a huge question and answer period, and it covers all kinds of stuff that you don't know the answer, and you call somebody, or you and your friends don't know because they got the book, they didn't read it either. Now, a lot of that book will not pertain to you. It'll have, if you're on Medicaid, blah, 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 this and that and the other thing. It won't deal with you directly, so don't be intimidated by all 150 pages or whatever it is, okay? Don't do that. Just sit down and start at the beginning and read as far as you need to go that pertains to you. You will have a lot of things answered, a lot of things you didn't really understand. You can figure it out, and keep that book. I was going to say keep it under the telephone. Under our phone, we always had the phone book, and we always had like a catalog, stuff like this. This would be a good place for that, but we don't have phones anymore, so keep it in a good place. Well, my wife's a pretty happy person right now because I'm happen to be leaving tomorrow for a week at a business meeting that I've been called to in northern Wisconsin, so I leave tomorrow. And so there will not be any senior talk next week, little heads up. No senior talk next week because I'm going to a business meeting in northern Wisconsin. And why would she be so happy? I'm sure she's going to miss me, right, for a week. Why is she so happy that I'm going to be gone to this business trip? I'm sure she'll miss me. I'm positive she'll miss me. I think. I don't know. Well, over the weekend, we had a team meeting at home. Maybe this is why she wants me is so happy. We both sat down while we were there, and honest to God, it just kind of came up. She said, we had a team meeting. We both have the plan to de-decor our house. De-decor. Now, that doesn't mean taking out old clothes or dealing with things that we don't need now. This means de-decor. What? This means I have a lot of Hawkeye things on the walls and fairly collectible that in the next 2 to 3 years are going to go. My wife put a thing on there when we're 80. Well, I thought that was a little far off. Nice for her to think that, but that'd be 3 years from now. But we're going to come up with another plan and lay that out so that when we get that level, that is, if we make it that level, who knows? But if we make it to that level, our house will just be 4 white walls and look and talk to each other. Because we don't spend much time in the lower level with a lot of things we have down there, and there's no reason to keep all those things. And my wife decorates for fall season and the spring season and Christmas season. She says she's going to be done with that when she's 80. Going to get the last 2, 3, 4 good, I shouldn't tell how old she is, 3 or 4 good years out of that. and then we're going to call it quits on that. We'll still live there unless the good Lord says we need to go somewhere else. We'll do our best, but we've kind of put a time limit on it. D-decor, that's my new term. Not just, yes, we'll take things out of the garage, and yes, we'll take some clothes to Goodwill, that type, as we go. But D-decor is way past it, so maybe you should get an idea. My God, Rex said they're going to D-decor. What are we going to do with all these things? Well, that's part of the, if you will, the fun. Maybe you have family members who like to have some things. Maybe that's some things you could sell, that type of thing. But if you're not enjoying them, can't enjoy them because you can't go to that part of the house or no longer interested in them, well, get busy, for sure. That could happen sooner than 80. I'm just saying that's the time frame. So what you're thinking is, the common thinking is, we'll do it when we're 79 and a half. Is that right? Well, no, because along the way we're getting rid of things, but the final push will be the D-decor. So, And I have my things, if you will, in the lower level, baseball stuff on the walls, football stuff, Hawkeye stuff, hunting things, fishing things. I'm in charge of that. She wouldn't touch my stuff, but I wouldn't touch a lot of the collection she has, so that's up to her. What she does with it, where it goes, things like that. At least we have an understanding now that we maybe not have had earlier. At least we have an understanding of other things. Now, one of our issues is we don't have any kids, so we can't call up Jimmy or Jane and say, you get this and you get that. So ours will be an everything must go type of deal. Oh, we have a few nieces, I guess. One we have, 2 nieces and 2 nephews, and maybe more. I don't. We don't have many family members for sure. We each have a brother, as far as it goes. So that's kind of the challenge that we have, is that we're on our own. We are on our own, and we're kind of looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it, but it's just hard to let go of a lot of things you've had all your life, for sure. Well, a senior friend of ours is having issues with balance. It started with an inner ear issue, and now he's unsteady at several times during the day. Using a cane, but not happy about it. Well, that's a vanity type thing. The cane helps him feel steady. The cane helps him feel more secure about himself. It's a confidence type thing. Plus, it's a help when he's walking and standing and talking and things like that. But because he has the propensity, not willingly, but it's part of becoming a senior and getting older, is balance. He can just like top over, like whoa, 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 and down, he falls on his rear end. And he has been hurt, and he has been hauled in. We've had other people this man is not in the family. He's just a good friend. Other people in the family had the same thing, and it's all age. It's a leg instability, inner ear. The doctor says it's normal for older guys who didn't exercise much. Whoa. His doctor told him it's normal for older guys who didn't exercise much. So I'm going to say maybe the doctor could have said it's also part of the deal for older ladies who didn't exercise much. And so the doctor asked him when did he exercise much. He said, well, I was on the football team in high school, and I was in the Army for 2 years. And he said, but that's been 100 years ago. So he said, in the meantime, I've worked at a job and things like that, but I've never had any organized exercise. So that's a little shot across the bow. It's not going to happen to everybody, but it could happen to you, could happen to me. Since I was at a couple of funerals and a couple of visitations, in the meantime, I had a lady call me, and she said, well, my husband passed away, and I'm kind of not past the shock because I'll never get past it, nor will she, nor should she. But I'm trying to figure things out. What happens to Social Security, his Social Security? Well, here's the deal. His Social Security is kaput. And the funeral home will advise, when they file a death certificate, they advise Social Security Administration, and that comes out every first of the month. So if you get one and old Charlie is gone, you need to send it back somehow. I don't know that end of it, but it's not, you're not worthy of it, not worth you. So in most cases, I'm generalizing here, I'm stereotyping, but in most cases, so beat me up if you want, but in most cases, the husband had a bigger income all through the years, and usually because the women worked maybe sometimes, but they took care of a lot of the kids more often during the day than Dad had an opportunity to do. And I'm not picking on anybody here, and this could be the vice versa at your house. I don't know. But one Social Security check is going to go. You can't have two. But here's what you can do. You can choose the greater of the two. So I'm gonna use this. Bob was getting $3,000 a month. Jane, the mom, who took a part-time job later and then a full-time job, is getting $2,000 a month. Bob is now gone. Jane can elect to move up to take Bob's. Now she's up to $3,000 a month, but she loses her. So combined, they were getting Bob's $3,000, her $2,000, $5,000. Now she moves up to Bob. They're at $3,000, still lost $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month is out the window. Now, maybe there's life insurance that she has, which is tax-free, that she can obviously now cash in with dealing with your insurance guy, your insurance lady, and sit down and get the rules on that. So there's some income there. There are other sources of income possibly, but the tried and true and the steady Social Security, you're not here so that they don't owe you any money. Well, that makes sense, for God's sake. For Social Security. Other investments are differently depending how you set them up. So that was my report. That is my report, is that when one of you, if you're normal, I don't mean normal, but if you're a husband, wife type of thing, one of you passes away, the one with the lower can move up to the one with the higher. So if the one with the lower passes away, the one with the higher just keeps going and takes his or her, the higher of the two, as the way you go. Speaking of Social Security, it looks like, I haven't seen the final signed, sealed, and delivered thing yet, but a 2.7% increase. 2.7, and they have not announced any increase in Medicare as yet. Now, last year it went up $5 a month, or it didn't go up very much. It went up a little bit. So anytime from Social Security, from the government, we'll say, you can get a 2.7% increase, well, that's a good thing. And, well, it doesn't cover inflation. I realize that. We had an 8.9 increase about 3 or 4 years ago. That was good. That didn't cover it either, but it was an 8.9% increase. Now a 2.7. So if you're getting, let's just round it to 3%, just because Rex sat in the back row of math class. So if you're getting 1,000, you're going to get 3% more, $30 a month more. Not much. $60, you're going to get, what's that? 3 times 2 is $60 a month. Yeah. You're getting $4,000 a month, be $120 a month, so to speak. So it goes up, and it's an increase. Never look a gift horse, I guess. And remember, it's not a gift horse. We're getting our own money back that we put in. Absolutely. So yeah, they're letting us have our own money back. Wow. And now this time it's 2.7%. They haven't signed it yet. And since the government is shut down, I don't know how that affects you. I don't know how it affects your kids. I don't know how it affects anybody. I don't know how it affects me. I work for myself, by myself, always have. So it won't affect me, but it'll affect some services. It'll affect some things that I probably like to do or go or do. Maybe if this thing is prolonged, I won't be able to do that. It will not affect your daily mail. It will not affect Social Security checks. It will not affect Social Security checks. They're paid out of a different fund. So as a senior, think, oh my God, I won't get my Social Security check. Those stupid Republicans, those stupid Democrats. No, they can't. Even they can't screw that up. It's paid out of a different fund. Paid out of a different fund. So you will get. We will. Me too. Get a Social Security check. All right. Well, let's take a little quiz here. You are old if you used a rotary telephone. Now, I contend that if you look up advertising today, you'll still see Bob's Construction Service, dial 337-2169, all right? Dial. Well, there's no dial anymore. It's all analog. Is that analog? I don't know which one's from which. Anyhow, that's digital. That's analog, probably. I don't know. It's dial, Rex. So it says, call the Bob's Plumbing Service, dial this. Well, there's no more dial phone. Though you're old if you use a typewriter. A typewriter. I took typing, and if I hadn't taken typing, I wouldn't know how to use a computer, I don't think. Because the keyboard, it's called a QWERTY keyboard, which I don't know what that means, but a keyboard that I learned in typing class, it was mandatory in 8th grade, and I think in about 1962 we took it. Mandatory, boys and girls. We had to have typing. You know, that's a pretty common sense type thing. Back then they had typing, and it was a big type, and then hit that, what they call the bail, and push it back to the right, start typing again type of thing, and the teachers would come by and say D is too small. Your L is a flying L or some crazy thing. You hit it too soon or before the other key went down. So if you used a typewriter, you're old school. If you ever when computers had a floppy disk, I didn't know much about them back then, but I know what they were. If you use one of those, you're old. You're considered old. If you had a camera with film, well, we always had a camera with film. I had those for a long, long time. We had those when I was a kid. For God's sake, little brownie type of thing. My mom had a real nice Kodak, and her camera was she had to hold it at her waist type of thing or lower, out in front of her, and kind of tilt the camera back and forth and left and right to get everybody in, and inevitably she chopped everybody's head off in half the photos. But you're old if you had that. If you had a Walkman, if you had a VHS, if you rented movies on a VHS, get this one, if you learned cursive, in other words, you learned to write. Because we talked about this, like a lot of kids can't read. They can't write their own name when they get out of school. What the hell's going on? It's craziness. If you had a phone book, you're old school. If you sent letters, you sent postcards. I sent postcards. I have a lot of fun with postcards. We go somewhere and I see a whole bunch of postcards, especially postcards that have a picture of a big bunch of pigs on it, or a farmer got a wagon and one ear of corn on the wagon. It's a great big wagon, one ear of corn on the wagon saying hello from Iowa. I like those, and I send them to my cousins and friends and things like that. And I always put things on, how are you? How are you doing? Things are fine here at the farm. Wish you were here, blah, blah, blah. It just goes through the mail. Everybody and their dog reads them. Every mailman along the way reads them. And so, oh, look at that pretty car. I've done that for years. And so if you're somewhere and you see some funny, funky postcards about Iowa with a tall corn straight, picture of the old Capitol, whatever it might be, a big Hawkeye one, write your cousin a letter, just put in postcards, how you going, things are fine, see you soon type of thing. Send money, see you soon. That's I haven't sent one for about since early May, so I think. So I don't know how much it costs to send one now. If you ever used a paper map, now this one just aggravates me because I prefer a paper map to these crazy things in your car where it tells you where to turn. I want a paper map, so I got something in my hand. If you owned a dictionary, because now, of course we had a dictionary, but you look things up. How many times I was sent doing homework home, sent to the cabinet to get the Webster's Dictionary out. Webster? I think it was Webster's Dictionary out, all right? To look up a word and then report back to my mom what it meant, type of thing like that. Wow. Have you ever written a check? Now, I was behind an older lady, I want to say. I'm 76. She was older than me. I don't know how much. And she got all her groceries pushed through there. And the guy said, I don't know, $32.87. And she took out her purse methodically, put her purse up on the counter, opened it up, fished around in there, pulled out a checkbook. The guy behind turned around ahead of me, rolled his eyes, and she wrote a check. Today's date, the amount. Asked the guy about 3 times, how much is the amount now? Put that in there, then wrote it out. $32.87. Lower left-hand corner, I happen to know she wrote groceries. Well, if you already wrote to Hy-Vee, why would you need to put groceries? Anyhow, she was methodical. Sign her name. Tore it out slow you can without ripping it. Slow you can possibly do it. All set? No, she's not all set. What'd she have to do now? Now she had to go into the record and, of course, the check number, the date, and to whom she wrote it. And that, I'm telling you, folks, it's normal that we've did that for years. Look out. If you're one who does that, they're going to come and haul you away at Hy-Vee. They're going to tell you to get in a different line. The people in your line are going to start yelling at you. We didn't do that. It was just an old school thing. Wow. All right. Here's one. I'll give you the last one today. If you learn to drive a car on a clutch, you're old school. Well, my dad said, you are going to learn how to drive a car with a clutch. And I said, okay. So we went out in the country on gravel road on one Sunday morning in a car we had with a clutch, and he taught me how to drive. And he said, you'll forever thank me. And because he says someday you're posed with got an emergency situation, and there's the car, you got to get somebody to town and the doctor or whatever it is, and the car has a clutch, and you don't know how to drive it, you won't be able to save that person. That was the impetus for it. He says, if you learn how to drive a clutch, you can drive anything. And he was 100% right. Well, good for him, and thanks for doing that. So don't forget, no Senior Talk next week. I'll be on a business meeting up north. I will be back in town on Thursday, so I'll be here in 2 weeks. Do your best for sure. I'm sure you can do that. But while I'm gone, and not for me, but for yourself, you can do some things. You can take a tour of your house. You can change your furnace filter. You can take a tour of the outside of your house. You can get rid of some things you know you're not using. You can go to Goodwill. You can take it to Homes in Coralville. Type of thing like that. They take furniture. Get busy, folks. Get busy. Well, the greatest secret in life is we never know how long we're going to be here, and I mean here. Living with full faculties or living with not all of our full faculties. How long will we be here? A friend of mine said he wanted it was always intended about starting a walking program. Folks, he couldn't walk to how to get to the mail and back. Now, he let himself, I don't mean let himself go, but his health is to the point now he can't walk. He'd like to, but he can't. So knowing that fact, it is very important that, quote, we do all we can while we can, whatever that may be. Do all you can while you can, because get this, too late may come too soon. Like my friend, too late may come too soon. My salute to all of you veterans out there who have served our country and who are serving today, and all the folks at all the different American Legions around the Johnson County. Thank you so much for all the services you provide for your community and for the veterans. And I'm always on my senior line at 330-5534. A little hint, where I'm going, there's very limited cell service, so I'm not sure this is a business trip, but we'll say that's what it is. That's a scoop. Cheer on your favorite team if they're in the playoffs in the baseball. It's the greatest time of the year. So this is Rex Brandstatter saying thanks for listening to Senior Talk. We'll see you in 2 weeks. So long.
What does the word